Hey guys, welcome back. I got a little issue with one of my cars. The starter is no longer working. So I did the full diagnostic on it and come to the conclusion that the starter is the culprit. Even if I bypass everything and I go straight to it, and still I can't even get it click. So today we're gonna have the pleasure of removing a starter, and I got to tell you, it's I've done it once before, and it's a pain in the butt because there's so little space underneath the car. And yes, go underneath the car. By underneath the car, don't follow what other people tell you by going on top, because you'll be ripping half the passenger side engine portion out just to get to it. But from underneath, there is a I found a little easier way to get there. And basically, if you follow the instructions in the Crossfire or the Mercedes service manual, it'll tell you to disconnect a whole pile of things from under the car as well, like take off your exhaust, disconnect the O2 sensors, and remove the exhaust. You don't need to do that. You just need to remove two parts. One will be the idler arm, and the other one's going to be the cover on top of the idler arm that is there for, I don't really know what it's there for, because it doesn't really protect the starter's electrical components at all, so the wiring and that stuff, so it doesn't do anything. So let's get underneath the car and let's go see what we can do, and I'll explain to you what tools that are also required. That'll save you a lot of time and back and forth and so on. And hopefully this little trick will save you a lot of headaches. Note, whenever you're playing with any type of electrical components, anything with wires, remove the negative side battery cable. So we're going to check out the pulse module. The pulse module is located right in front of the steering wheel up here in North America. In UK, it could be on the other side. I have no idea of the engine configuration over there. One day I'll go visit. But right now, so let's get to the pulse module here. So there's a little tab here. Okay, can you see? Squeeze these guys together, and it'll unhinge. We'll open that up, and it comes totally, so if you take a look, when I was pinching, okay, is this. So you can see that moving back and forth. So that unlocks from the front. Then you'll have a little piece of paper that's in there. That is your fuse configuration paper. And basically that tells you what each fuse is for. Where is the pulse module? Well, it's right underneath here. So to get to this one, there's a couple of tabs that we take off. There, 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 and there. And we just lift this guy up, and you'll see what I mean. So with this one, okay, you're gonna push it outwards. Each and single one of these guys, you're gonna basically bend them outwards to let go of the little clip that is located on the sides here. That's where these tabs lock into. Now, let's get back to focus. This is your pulse module right there. So that's the one we're going to be working on today, and we're going to be doing a couple of tests to see what's happening with this car. As I said before, no crank, no start, and we've got all sorts of little things that we've done prior to this here. It's got a brand spanking new battery. It's got because the other one was dead. So we know we've got proper crank power and proper voltage on it, because I've tested it. The RCM has been resoldered and has been fixed by myself, so I know it's good. Plus I've swapped out with two other RCMs that I just happen to have. I also changed out the crank position sensor, more as a safety feature than anything else, because the crank position sensor, as we all know, will give you a crank but no start. However, having said that, in the 8 years that I've done these, I've had 2 cars that have changed the crank position sensor on a no crank, no start, and the bloody thing worked. So go figure. German engineering, I guess. But this car, as you know, it's a no crank, no start. So we will see what happens next. We've got a brand new ground cable as well. That's one thing that if you drive your car in the wintertime or in salted areas like Florida and stuff like that, just go underneath your car near the transmission on the driver's side once again, and you'll see a cable. It's a body ground cable, so it goes from the transmission to the body of the car. So anyways, let's get on to this and see what we can find. This is your pulse control, pulse modulator, and what we'll do here is we'll do a little test, okay? And on this clip right here, okay, that's the clip for the starter. So what we're going to do with this one is, as you can see, it's connected on this one. This is on the good car, okay? This one here, the starter presently works. And if I put this inside of this, okay, let's see. You can hear that the car cranked, therefore the starter is good. On the other car, the one with the bad starter, it would not do that. Okay, it would absolutely not crank, not do anything. So that was the last step to identify and confirm that it was the starter that it was gone bad. So that's all you need to do. So connect. See, follow this yellow line. Okay, for those who aren't sure. Never mind the engine. It's off the SRT6. The battery's there. And it's connected right on an alligator clip right to the positive cable. Okay, so we come back here. Okay, orange cable. Once again, this guy right into the pin, the single pin, okay, of the pulse module. All right, and by doing such, you will get the either a crank or a no crank, and that will give you, that will identify whether or not your starter is good or bad. So in reference of the car, here's the front, here's a passenger side tire, front tire. We move back here, here's your oil pan, and right here, that black thing, that is your starter. Okay, so as you see, there's not a lot of room, but here's what we need to do. This is your idler arm. So we're going to remove this guy. Okay, we're going to remove this pan here, this shield. All right, let's get in there. And that is held with a couple of number 8 nuts, one right there and one right there. Okay, the next thing we do is, this is a number 6, we got to remove the idler arm. Okay, so that'll remove the shield. To remove the idler arm, you need a number 16 millimeter socket, metric size, but if you don't have it, a 5/8 will fit in there perfectly as well. You can swing the idler arm left, get it out of its bracket right here. That's being held again with the 5/8. So you can swing this out, move it down, and get it out of the way. What you're going to need is one of those Torx bit, because you got 2 Torx screws. One is right there. Okay, the other one is right on top. So I'm going to zoom in. Okay, and you can see the end of the bolts right there. There's the end of the bolt. So there's the end of the bolt right there. Okay, and it goes through the transmission housing right there, the bell housing. So there's your 2 bolts, your 2 Torx. Okay, so you're going to back those off completely, get them out of the way. And if we remember what a Torx bit socket looks like, here it is, right? It's one of these guys here with all these little ridges. It looks like okay, so above the starter is the solenoid, and it's got the wires, okay, right there. So you have one wire, which is a 13 millimeter, which is the wire going to your battery. That's your power. And this purple one, that's the one going to the ignition starter, and that is a 10 millimeter. So you're going to need to remove those two as well and push them all the way back, as far back as you can, there, okay, towards the front of the car. The other thing you're going to need to do is, unlike what the service manual says, you do not need to remove the exhaust. You do not need to remove the catalytic converter. Okay, I found a little simpler way of doing it, and that is, first step, remove this bracket here. It's not a bracket, it's just a safety, I don't know what the hell it is, really. It's just a bracket that sits up on top of the idler arm, and it just bolts onto there, and another one right in here. But somebody's played with in here before and folded this guy here. So when I put everything back together, I'll fix that up and close it up. But remove this guy, get this one out of your way, okay? Because this is going to make a big difference, and it'll save you a lot of headaches. Because removing the exhaust, I'll tell you now, it's not that it's hard, but it's a bigger job than what I found. The next thing to do is remove the bolt to the idler arm. Okay, it's a, what size is it? 16 millimeter, and on top you got to get a wrench in there because on top it's the E14 once again socket that you got to get in there and remove. Okay, so let me do that real quick, and I'll get right back to you, and I'll show you what you need to do. Okay, so as you can see, the idler arm has been moved out of the way. It'll give us a little bit of extra room. Next, you want to get to your wires, your electricals. So the first one here with the colored wires, that's a number 10. And right behind it, let's see, right there, okay, that is, can we zoom in there? Okay, so the first one, as I said, is a number 10, and the second one is, what was it? Uh-oh, there it is, number 13. Yay, number 13 for the win. Okay, so let's get in there and see what's going on, and then the fun begins. Then we will remove, I'll say it right now, do it right now. Then we will remove those two Torx bolts. Okay, once that's removed, the starter will be out of its holding position, and then we will be able to start the manipulating, twisting and turning, and this is where the fun becomes. As you can see, not a lot of room, so we got to wiggle and waggle that thing out of there. So, but first, number 10, number 13 bolts. I'll tell you what helps a lot is these Milwaukee battery operated sockets. Whoops, fantastic. So as you can see, I got a socket there. I'm in between the O2 sensor and the very restrictive catalytic converter. And I got that bolt coming out, as you can see. Alright, so that one's done. And there we go. To get the top bolt out, I use 2 extension bars. One was 3-inch, the other one was 10-inch, so 13 inches total. and I used it on a swivel. You see how the socket normally would be straight off, okay? Straight up. Now this swivel allows you to move in all sorts of angles, so that when you get stuck in a precarious position like this one, that's what you got to do. So again, I went through the same spot I mentioned before, right before the O2 sensor, right before this guy. I went right through here and I wiggled, and I finally got it right on there and was able to back it off. So now the fun begins. Let's see how long it takes me to take the actual starter out of here. The starter is now loose, so we can now get in there and start wiggling and jiggling to get this thing out of the way. So we're going to be going, I'm telling right now, you're going to be going up in there and then trying to come down through here, and we may have to twist it in reverse so that the front comes out or the rear comes out. I can't remember right now, but I'll let you know in a second. I want you guys to see this here. So here's your gears for the starter. Okay, so that goes into the bell housing. All right, now what I did is I moved it outwards and I went upwards into that cavity right behind the starter right now. Okay, and I went all the way up, and I had to jiggle and jiggle to try to get this part here to come down first. And now I'll be able to, here it is. Okay, so it's going to be the same thing in reverse. So you're going to go in with your connectors, your electrical connectors. You're going to go inwards and up, and you're going to jiggle and jiggle till you find a pocket. And once you find that pocket, okay, you're going to be going back and forth, and then you'll be able to put the sucker right back in. Okay, so that didn't take too long. That was fun. Okay, to the bench. Let's go see what's going on with this guy. So you got 3 nuts coming out, or 3 bolts, sorry, coming out of this here. You got a big bolt right there, which is your power. So this is when you took off the power underneath the car to the starter, so the positive cable going to the battery hooks up to this big guy right here, and he's all alone. Okay, the next one here, this is your ignition wires. So when you turn the key, power is sent to here, the signal is sent to here, and then the power is actually gone from there to there into here. So this is your starter. So as you can see, this is the wire that needs to be connected to the solenoid, because if this wire was not there, you know, there's no way that the starter would get any power. So the power, you turn the key on, sends a signal there, the power goes on, it sends it to here, then this goes on to this portion, and then your gears pop out, and it grabs the ring gear on the engine, the flywheel, which has a whole pile of gears on it as well, and it receives it, so it's sitting right there. Then this pops out, and then all of a sudden your engine starts to turn. The minute you let go of the key, these gears go from this position to where they are right now. So that's basically how these guys work. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pop this over just a little over like this so we can see properly. Okay, because I got to get a wire to this guy. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ground the unit, and that's your black guy. Okay, and we're just going to put it on right here. So that's one. The second one we're going to do now is pop the power. Okay, right there, just to this guy. Okay? Not to that guy, he's not being touched. Just to this guy. The next one is where that little wire came from. And this guy, what you can do is just pop it on top of there, or you can tie it into the teeth of your clamps, whatever, it doesn't matter, because as long as you've got power going, as long as it's making contact. Okay, now with the other end, we're going to go underneath there and we're going to touch the ignition portion. So this is where you would have your key, and you would be sending a signal for the power to go on. So let's go down here. And as you can see, there's absolutely nothing happening here. Just spark. So solenoid is bad. It is done. It needs either rebuilt or to be replaced. Yes, you can rebuild these guys here, but that's not what I'm going to do here, because you'll see why. There's more problems in with this guy. So nothing going on to send a signal to the starter. But if we bypass all of this, okay, and just test out this motor by itself, because it's grounded at the body, and you have a wire right here that's going to the motor, so you're going to have electricity bypassing the solenoid and going right into here. Now let's see what happens then. Now you don't want to hold your power key, your probe, your electrical connect wire here too long. You can also just go right here. Okay. Now you can hear it works, right? It goes. Now let's see. Let's do that again. But let's see how well the gears pop out. Oh. Oh. So, nope, we've got nothing. So we got a couple of problems with this guy. So the gears don't want to come out. The solenoid is not working properly and does not want to work properly. So the only thing that we can do here, or that I can do, is have it rebuilt to shops. There are shops that specialize in rebuilding these guys. It's a lot cheaper than buying in most cases. You'll have to look in your directory yellow pages if if you still have yellow pages. Let me just take this off here, and there we go. Secure all this stuff. Okay, so here's a really good used one, and thanks to Rob over at Needs Wings. And with this one, I am going to show you the same procedure again, but what the difference is. So let's get this on here. Let's do connect. Okay. So you see that? All right. That's what a good starter and good solenoid should sound like and act like. What we're going to do is put the butt end first, that's with the connectors, and put the cone, that's with the gear, in last. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to go up, okay, twist a little bit, and jiggle, and get your hand here on the side. Now I don't know what you can and can't see here, but so you want to do this. And then you kind of flip it so that the nose goes back into the bell housing. Now make sure you get your wires out here at this point. So keep in mind one thing, when you are doing this, you want to have your solenoid, okay, this little guy, not the big motor part, the little one, you want that facing up towards the hood of the vehicle. So when you're twisting and playing with this thing here, you got to make sure to pop that one up on top. When you are trying to reinstall this, okay, there is so little space in the back there towards the front of the engine. And I'll tell you that the cable, the battery cable, okay, your power cable, that is right, anyways, that was the big guy you saw early on there. This guy, let's see if I can show you. Okay, this guy is going to get in the way and it will interfere. So you really have to move it, okay, this way. As far as you can, get it out of the way because it's angled and it's very, very strong. And when you're trying to wiggle this into it, it gets right behind the starter and it blocks you. Just that few millimeters of space that this cable takes is enough to give you grief. So pop that guy back on, then get your starter cable right here. Okay, he's gonna go on the next one right over there. Anyways, got to do two hands again, guys. It's tricky, but there we go. We have it in. As you can see, the bolt is back on for the idler arm. If we take a look way up there, okay, a little hard to focus, but there they are. The nuts are back on. I think they're 10 pounds. I'll have to check the book again. Just nice and snug. Then the nuts over here holding the starter. Okay, these little guys here again. Okay, which is right there. Where is it? Where is it? Go there. Oh, it's sitting behind there. There we go. Okay, it's way on top there. So those, right? Those two, they're 31 pounds, foot-pounds. So it's a little guy right there with a little bit of pink. I know I can't get into focus because I got this thing in there, but there we go. And they're 31 foot-pounds. So once you have those, the last thing you need to do is to reinstall your little shield. And that's this guy here. And he goes back up on top there, and you bolt it all back together, and you're all good to go. Once you've got that, we're going to get back into the car. We're going to give it a start, and we will see if we did a good job. So that's what we do next. Moment of truth. And there she is. Oh, she sounds pretty. Perfect. Well, I do hope that this helps. Remember, this project can be frustrating, but it is easily doable. It's not a lot of bolts and screws to remove. It's just a lack of space to work in. That's all. So if I can do it, you can do it. So go out there and get your car back on the road, guys. So hopefully you appreciate these videos and the time that and the effort that do go into them. And if you do, please click on the subscribe button and press on the like as well. It really helps the channel. It's a small channel, so I don't make a lot of money on this stuff here. It barely covers parts and some shop supplies, really barely to do that. But the more people that subscribe, the more likes that we get. Well, we get a few dollars more, and then we can continue on to do more. It motivates me to do even more videos. So on that, again, please click subscribe and click on the like button and share with your friends, and I'll see you on the next video.